गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल बाय हेमंत कुमार। आज हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे डेवलपिंग सॉफ्ट स्किल 2022 का वीक 4 का असाइनमेंट का आंसर। और हम लोग ये भी देखेंगे जब रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर होता है तब कैसे आंसर देखा जाता है। पहले 3 डॉट पे क्लिक करेंगे, गो टू कोर्स पे क्लिक करने के बाद कोर्स प्रोग्रेस पे क्लिक करेंगे। वीक 1, वीक 2, वीक 3, वीक 4 का जब 24 तारीख के बाद जब 25 तारीख होगा उस दिन आपको यहाँ मार्क्स शो करने लगेगा। जब आप असाइनमेंट सबमिशन कर दीजिएगा तब, अगर असाइनमेंट सबमिशन नहीं कीजिएगा तो वहाँ मार्क्स शो नहीं करेगा। अब हम लोग देखते हैं वीक 4 का असाइनमेंट। वीक 4 असाइनमेंट 4 पे क्लिक करेंगे। असाइनमेंट ड्यू डेट 24/8/2022, जैसा कि मैंने बताया। लास्ट टिकट सबमिशन मैंने अभी तुरंत सबमिशन किया है 12:22 में। देखते हैं। चूज ऑल द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट कंसर्निंग वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन। The 4 aspects of verbal communication are integrated listening and reading are comprehension skills. Listening is an active mental process. An academic conference on physics is organized in Chennai. One of the keynote presenters talked about the relation between physics and tourism. Some members started mocking the presenter and many left the conference room even before the speaker finished his presentation, thinking that science and philosophy cannot cohere as the former is based on facts while the latter on abstract ideas. A few years later, his idea, published as a book titled The Tao in the Physics, was globally academic and won him many international awards. Identify the lesson pertaining to communication from the given scenario. Listeners should not be prejudiced against the speakers and his ideas. Listening with preconceived notions in a major hindrance to communication. One should listen with an open mind. Choose the correct statements about good communication. Good communication involves the whole body. Good communication makes the speaker feel that his words are given proper attention. Good communication involves appreciation and acknowledgement. Consider that you are conducting a 2 day workshop at IIT Kanpur on the topic how to become an active listener. At the end of the last day, you want to summarize everything you have taught. What are the appropriate points to add to your summary? Be courteous, be considerate, treat the speaker as a guest, pay full attention, eliminate distraction with switch off the phones. Carry a diary with you, note down essential points, minimize self-talk. Reflect of the lecture, reflect on the lecture, seek clarification, show empathy. What are the significance of active listening? It helps to understand other people. It helps to maintain a successful professional and personal relationship. It helps to learn about new fields. It improves one negotiation skills. It can help to know the needs of the customer. Consider a hypothetical situation where you are the organizing a people lecture on environmental issue and global warming. At the event of Holi, the keynote speakers are highly reputed and globally recognized. Hence, you do not want any barriers to the audience listening experience and ensure that the ideas are received well. What are the precautions you would take to avoid any listening barrier? Close all the windows to avoid any noise from outside that arise due to the holy celebration. Announce a disclaimer asking the audience to switch off their mobile phones and refrain from communication with each other during lecture. Check the quality of the mics, speakers, and all technician tools and keep spares in case of them malfunctions. Make sure to maintain a comfortable temperature and proper ventilation in the auditorium. Identify genuine purpose for calling someone on the phone to share any important news, to ask for help. Certain Sudeep is from India but has lived in America for the past 10 years. Owing to his busy work schedule, he did not visit his parents for a long time. Hence, his parents who are illiterate farmers did not get an opportunity to see their grandchildren at all. Also, their technological knowledge is limited to the use of an old television and a landline telephone. Sudeep had a best experience talking over the phone to His father-in-law who hated speaking over the phone, hence he refrained from calling people from that moment. In such a situation, what are the appropriate ways for Sudeep and his parents to communicate with help with each other? Sudeep, Sudeep should call his parents frequently and make his children speak to them. Sudeep should visit his parents at least once a year because communicating only over the telephone will leave his parents uncared for. Consider that you are working in a professional calls center. What would be the best way to attend to telephone calls? Ask permission from the callers to put them on hold. If you have kept the caller on hold a long time, apologize on returning at the end of the call. Say thank you with a smile. Identify the right way to deliver unpleasant news. Try to deliver the unpleasant news in a comforting way that would not break the receiver. Start with sentence like "I am afraid I might have to deliver an unpleasant news." Identify the appropriate meaning of the following sentence. When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know, but you have listening, you may learn something new. Listening helps to reassure one's ideas. Mohan was an average student who lacked concentration and mostly heard lectures mindlessly, believing that he was genetically programmed to be like that. This and could not be an active listener. What is the right advice you would give to Mohan? Mohan, active listening is not only for the intelligent ones, but also it can be cultivated through a practice. Start practicing it now. You will see great improvement if you are the consistent. Choose appropriate statement about listening. Speakers cannot make the audience listen to them 100%. The human communication is a leading human relations and public relation company. Many celebrities hired their HR PR from his firm for their publicity. The firm has scheduled a job interview to recruit young labs. You are invited as one of the panel members of the interview committee. Owing to your expertise in body language analysis, your job is to find the best communicator through body language. 6 candidates are in the final round, but one can be recruited. Who would you consider having the appropriate skills among the six exhibiting the following traits? Alina focuses on the speaker and makes eye contact. Her mouth is shut while her hands and feet are still. She nods and leans forward, often to agree with the speaker's ideas, but goes not to interrupt him. What is not what is not a psychological barrier to active listening? Weather conditions causing an uncomfortable environment. Identify a person experiencing a communication barrier. Isabel does not like Professor Belraj as she heard an unpleasant gossip about him, so she distracts herself in the class by scrolling through a social media. Identify the person who has appropriate telephone communication skill. Mano saves time by making important phone calls when he reads the newspaper. Fill in the blanks. People used what they called a dash because they hated being closer together and they were scared of being telephone and alone. What is not an appropriate way to end a telephone conversation? If the caller refuses to end the call, get angry and tell them they are being stupid. Identify the wrong way to deal with a difficult caller. If an angry caller shouts at you, take it personally and yell at them back. Research indicates that about 60% of listening skill involved in effective communication. True nonverbal communication, reading and listening are production skills. False talkative people communicate better than calm and silent people. False hearing is a mental activity that requires a lot of effort and concentration. False Aristotle said no one loves the messenger who brings the bad news. False अब हम लोग सबमिट करते हैं. Thank you for watching this video.